Seems a pleasant enough little place. Revelio. Alohomora. Hello, Mr. Semi.
What can I do for you?
And what do you have for sale?
What can I help you with today? I hope to see you again sometime.
Revelio. These rocks have seen better days. Revelio. Revelio. Wasn't so difficult. Incendio! Revelio!
I don't know what they think I'll see around here. It seems we next.
Accio! Leviosa! Incendio! Glacius! Confringo! The beasts around here can sleep a bit easier now.
Nice to see you, my young friend.
Revelio.
Let's finish this job and be done with it. Waste of time.
I hope Rookwood knows. Best to be small.
I've never seen That's just the beginning. Dancing on dangerous hacks.
Expulso!
You've made a great mistake. You can't hold out forever. Disarm my one.
Shame nobody saw that. I know what that means. Merlin trial. Revelio. Leviosa. Flipendo. Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Leviosa! This place has seen better.
Revelio.
Revelio.
Revelio. Revelio.
Abandoned long ago, no doubt. Shame we didn't have an audience for this one. Wingardium Leviosa.
Leviosa! Wingardium Leviosa! Accio! Wingardium Leviosa! Depulso! Wingardium Leviosa! Glacius! Depulso! Levioso! Accio! Descendo! Incendio! Descendo! Incendio! Levioso! Accio! Incendio! Descendo!
I've always said that travel broadens the mind.
Revelio.
I've never seen a sword like it.
Alohomora.
The other day.
Revelio.
Not sure how I'd fare in a little place like this.
Alohomora.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Welcome. I'm Bernard Indiai, and this is my shop.
I'm curious to know what's happening in Feldcroft. Might you have any insight?
An incredibly unpleasant goblin called Belgroth the Bludgeoner has been tormenting everyone he encounters. Feldcroft borders goblin country, but we've always lived in peace with their kind. Until recently, that is. Some claim that Belgroth and his associates are in league with Ranrock. I don't know if there's truth to it. Whatever the case, their constant meddling is devastating business. Everyone feels unsafe.
What do you sell?
Glad you asked. I sell the finest array of beast byproducts you'll find. If you don't believe me, feel free.
What brought you to own a shop in Feldcroft?
Beautiful place, isn't it? Although I admit I didn't choose it. It chose me. As for the shop, I suppose my line of work chose me as well. I've always loved working with beasts, and my twin girls adore them. Wouldn't be surprised if they took over from me one day.
What do you have to say?
What are we in the market for today? A pleasure doing business with you. Have I mentioned you're welcome to stop by any time?
What do we have here? A demiguise. Mine now, demiguise. Revelia. Wonder who lives here.
An intruder!
Revelio.
What are we in the market for today? Have I mentioned you're welcome to stop by any time?
Off on another adventure, are we? Revelio.
You made it.
Enjoying the view?
Keeping an eye on things. Feldcroft isn't what it used to be. No one has felt safe here since Ranrock's loyalists took a peculiar interest in that castle over there. Rookwood Castle. My uncle Solomon is a former Auror and refuses to look into it, even after Anne was cursed by one of them. Possibly with a wand, no less.
I heard a goblin refer to wizard kind as wand carriers. Are goblins forbidden from carrying wands?
Precisely. That's why I'm on the hunt for answers. If I'm to cure her, I need to understand what happened to her. Anne was always the most mischievous of the three of us. Which is saying something, knowing me and ominous. I'm hoping a surprise visit from me and a new friend from Hogwarts will help lift her spirits. Bring back the Anne I used to know. Come on, I'll take you to my uncle's. This way. Feldcroft used to be a lot livelier. With Ranrock's lot wandering about all the time. Everyone stays out. Here we are. My sister should be just inside.
Aha! Sebastian, where did you...
Is that what I think it is?
We've been over this, boy. Shrivelfix cannot reverse a curse. Nothing can. The sooner you accept that reality, the better.
But we haven't tried everything.
There is no cure! When will you accept that?
Never. I can never accept it.
Now what you've done.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you had to see that. If you don't mind, I just need a moment alone.
Poor Sebastian. Not the visit he'd hoped for.
I'm sorry about earlier. Those bouts of pain are difficult to bear.
Are you all right, Anne? I didn't mean to intrude.
You didn't, truly. And I'm all right. The pain from this curse comes in bouts, and often suddenly. It's not anyone's fault. It's nice to meet you, by the way. You must be the new 5th year Sebastian told me about.
I am. Sebastian and I met my first day at Hogwarts, in the Slytherin common room.
Oh, the common room. I adored teasing first years about spotting mermaids through the window. I do miss Hogwarts, but I wouldn't mind being in Feldcroft really if it wasn't so dreary now. Between the goblins at the castle and my uncle fighting with Sebastian whenever he's home, it's not the cozy retreat it once was.
Sebastian mentioned something about your uncle being an ex-Auror, but refusing to go after Ranrock's loyalists. I must say, I wasn't prepared for him to be as angry as he was.
Uncle Solomon is frustrated by what happened to me, and by Sebastian for thinking he can fix it. They both mean well, I know they do, but my uncle is right. This curse cannot be undone. I can feel it. Sebastian cannot take away my pain. Perhaps you can help him to understand that.
I'll do my best. I can promise to speak with him about it.
Thank you. His search for a cure is futile, I'm afraid. I'm getting tired. I should probably rest. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you well.
boy will fray my last nerve.
Excuse me, Mr. Sallow.
Oh, yes, Sebastian's friend. I apologize on behalf of my nephew. He doesn't know when to stop. I was about to check on Anne. Did I see you come from the house? How is she?
She's all right. She said she was going to rest.
Nothing can be done for her.
I'm so sorry. I understand you've tried everyone from Nurse Blaney to St. Mungo's to no avail.
We have. My nephew thinks he knows better than the healers.
Perhaps the healers don't know everything, sir. Sebastian is single-mindedly focused on finding a way to help his sister. If there is a cure, he will find it.
Your faith in Sebastian is misplaced. Some sort of dark magic cursed Anne, and the goblins aren't likely to explain themselves anytime soon. Giving her hope is cruel. The only thing to do now is keep Anne comfortable and stay out of the Loyalists' way.
I understand what you're saying, sir.
Good. I know what's best for Anne and Sebastian. They are my stubborn brother's children. Especially Sebastian. If you really want to be of help, you'll make sure Sebastian does what... It's no idea the harm... I hope you'll remember what I've said. Good day.
I ought to see how Sebastian's faring.
How nice to see you, my young friend.
Why will he not listen to me? She's my sister.
How are you doing?
You got a first-hand glance at what I'm dealing with.
I know he's angry, but he's only trying to do what he thinks is best for Anne.
He's always angry. He's been angry since my parents died. After Anne was hurt, he only grew worse. It's as though he blames me somehow, always calling me my father's son, as if that's an insult. I'm the one trying to help her. He's simply given up.
Both Anne and your uncle seem genuinely convinced that nothing more can be done for her.
I refuse to believe that. Anne's pain is more than physical. It has changed her entirely. I miss my sister. And I'm going to get her back. Come with me. I need to show you where it happened. Ranrock's Loyalists are capable of so much more than people realize. They should not be underestimated. All the debris you'll see is from whatever's going on at that abandoned estate. They've been digging for something. Up there, on that plateau, is where they cursed Anne. This way.
How much longer are we expected to dig through this rubble? Ranrock knows what he's doing. It's an honor to be a part of it. Dead wizard in my book. You've made your last mistake. I don't have time for this. Nice try. Rather unwise. way. Why don't you come up here and fight me? How childish! It's truly. You are postponing this. You're making this too easy. What do you call that spellcasting? I won't rest. Don't do try and get out of bed. I can do this for hours. Much too slow. Such a sense. You're so clever. You don't know who you're playing. That was meant for me. Not quite. I've been fighting since before you. You won't stop her. You can't stop her scared. Prepare to surrender now. Your spells glance off. Losing it. Is it? Not quite. Easily diverted.
I confess, that was a bit more than I bargained for. I tried to warn you.
Revelio. Repair. Revelio. Those loyalists deserved what they got.
Couldn't agree more. This is where it happened. We smelled smoke in the middle of the night. When we looked outside, flames were shooting from the estate. Before my uncle and I could stop her, Anne rushed out, racing towards the fire, worried someone would be hurt. She came face to face with a horde of goblins, frantically trying to stamp out the flames. Suddenly, an icy voice drifted out from somewhere in the smoke. Children should be seen and not heard. A blinding blast followed. They didn't even give her a chance to run.
Seems an awfully violent response to a child wandering by. What were they trying to hide?
My thoughts exactly. It may be grasping at Billywigs, but I keep thinking that there might be something here that could lead me to whoever cursed Anne. Might be the only way to learn what type of magic harmed her, which could help me find a cure.
Perhaps you're right. The Loyalists are everywhere, but they do seem to be spending a lot of time here, and it's likely they're hiding something.
And at Rookwood Castle. Shall we have a look around? They seem to have set up camp here for a specific reason. They have stations for everything. I've heard goblin dig sites like these are popping up everywhere.
It's a wonder the Ministry isn't doing more. Always armed and ready for a fight, Ranrock's Loyalists. Whose home was this?
Been abandoned long since I've lived here. Rumour was a Hogwarts
Revelio.
centuries ago. But that's all I ever heard. It might be worth taking a closer look at the house itself.
This well looks familiar. Sebastian, I've seen this before. The house, the well, the view.
What do you mean? When?
Give me a moment. I'll explain in a second.
Revelio.
Sebastian, over here. Do you think this was damaged by the fire the night that Anne was cursed?
Could be. But it looks to me as though this was intentional.
Sebastian, this house did belong to a Hogwarts professor hundreds of years ago.
Who? What do you...
I found a pensive that day in the restricted section with a memory that showed this house. There was a little girl and a drought. The keepers have shown me other memories as well. The girl became a Hogwarts professor. Her name was Isadora Morganach. She was one of the keepers.
The keepers? Like in Quidditch? And you found a pensive in the library? I'm not following you.
I realize it's a lot to take in. I'm not even sure I understand it all yet. They call themselves keepers because they're protecting some type of knowledge. It all has to do with the vault at Gringotts.
Let me see if I've got this straight. You have Ranrock and Rookwood after you because of something you found at Gringotts where you ended up via a port key. And now you've been witnessing memories left by keepers. Oh, and this house belonged to a Hogwarts If I didn't know you, I'd think you were pulling my leg.
It is all a bit much, isn't it, when you put it like that? The point is, we both have good reason to search this house. You for answers about what happened to Anne, and me for answers about the keepers.
Look at this.
Someone piled this here for a reason. Is it...
Only one way to find out. Huh, a stairwell. Why bother blocking a stairwell?
Lumos, there might be something here worth a closer look.
They've left all of this simply strewn about. Tells me they're after something bigger.
Journal entry of Isadora's. I should hold on to this. Seems these journal entries are from Isadora's travels.
Revelio.
Lumos.
wouldn't do for a cup of mushroom tea.
Lumos. You're not going to believe this. I can see the Undercroft.
What? A daydream? Because that happens to me too.
I know it sounds strange.
Honestly, nothing you say sounds strange.
Fair enough. I can see the Undercroft through this stone wall, as though it's a window. This has happened before.
I'm listening.
I have a rare ability to see whispers of ancient magic.
I don't know what I was expecting you to say, but it wasn't that. I knew you weren't telling me everything. Ancient magic. What does that even mean?
I'm not entirely sure, but the Keepers have said that it's a powerful magic that should only be wielded by a select few.
And you can wield it?
I don't know, but Fig and I think that Ranrock has somehow found a way to harness that magic's power.
Are you telling me that goblins may be wielding some sort of wizard magic?
That's what we're trying to find out. What I do know is that my ability allows me to travel through these windows I see.
Wait. We can get straight to the Undercroft from here. Ominous will be flawed.
We can, but perhaps best not to tell anyone else about this for now. Even Ominous.
Understood. Well then, invisible, secret, ancient magic passageway? Here we come. I'm tempted to hold my breath.
Why would the door lead us here?
Sebastian, look. A triptych here.
Seems as if something's missing.
A note. Let's have a look.
Anything helpful in the note?
Rune symbol. I've seen similar symbols used by the Keepers.
I've been thinking. A Keeper lived in that house centuries ago, and Ranrock and his lot have been searching there. You said that goblins may be wielding some form of this ancient magic. Do you think Anne was cursed by ancient magic?
I can't be sure, of course, but I don't think so. I didn't see any traces of it around your sister.
Very well. But that doesn't mean it's not ancient magic. There's still so much we don't know about it.
True. Perhaps this triptych will lead us to answers.
Then we'll have to unravel what this all means. But now I need to see Ominous. Don't worry, I won't tell him anything. Did I mention that, apparently, Salazar Slytherin had a secret scriptorium here, in Hogwarts?
You did not. Is it connected to our common room?
No idea. Ominous just learned of it. I'll let you know what I find out. I had no idea our visit to Sian would unfold into all of this. My head's an utter mess. But I'm glad you told me everything you did. I'll be in touch. Till then.
owe his reputation to you.
And your reading is The Dragon. That's exciting, I suppose. Perhaps you're due for an adventure.
Ladies,
Professor Shah.
astronomy is not divination. You won't find the mysteries of the cosmos charted out on your palms or at the bottom of your teacups. Alas, the heavens remain hazy to the starry-eyed. Now, if you were to devote yourselves to persistent and painstaking observation, you just might catch a glimpse. With that in mind, please take your telescopes. Tonight we will be on the observation deck. Still don't have your own? You can't be the new student forever, you know. You can share with Mr. Takar.
Here, I can adjust that for you.
No, bring it into focus on your own. Now, I expect all of you to put in your stargazing hours outside of class. Is that clear?
But, Professor, it's freezing out.
Mere cold didn't stop the great stargazers of the past. Look only to the astronomy tables they erected throughout the highlands from which they gazed millennia ago on the very self-same stars above us. Is that clear? Dismissed.
Hello. I don't believe we've met officially. I'm Amit. I'm something of an astronomy buff.
Hello, Amit. It's nice to meet you.
Did I hear Professor Shaw say that you don't have your own telescope? I have a spare one you could borrow for the rest of term.
That's very kind of you, Amit. Are you sure you won't need it?
I'm certain. It's my old one. I finally got my hands on the new Celestia Contemplar. You've heard of it, I assume? I mean, of course you have. It's only the pinnacle of all personal stargazing implements. But my old model's not too shabby either. Goblin-cut glass, first-rate optical enchantments. Hate to think such a fine instrument is just collecting dust.
Well, thank you, Amit.
Think nothing of it. Anyway, the telescope's in the storage room right underneath us. You can't miss it. I have some, reading to finish on the lower deck. Come find me there afterwards, and bring the telescope. There's something I want to talk to you about.
I tried to put off my stargazing as long as I could.
This was his old telescope. Looks practically brand new.
A pristine...
Professor Shah, I'm interested in learning more about astronomy.
It is increasingly rare to find a student who seeks after things celestial, of their own accord. But if you truly desire to chart the courses of the cosmos, you must rid your mind of the terrestrial babble of others. We ourselves are not unlike blank star charts, you know. Empty canvases waiting to be inscribed with all that the universe has to offer. Do you understand?
You mentioned astronomy tables earlier in class. What were you talking about?
Long ago, devotees of the astral arts set up stone slabs across the countryside. They are ideal for studying constellations near and far. For centuries, wizards made use of these astronomy tables for stargazing. Sadly, they have since become mere monuments to the intrepid intellectual pursuits of a bygone epoch.
Am I right in thinking you are unimpressed by divination?
Of the many other so-called disciplines taught here, divination is perhaps the most feeble. especially in its nonsensical practice of astrology. Do not confuse astronomy and astrology. One is concerned with mysteries stellar and lunar, the other is mere lunacy.
Thank you, Professor. I look forward to stargazing.
I am glad to hear it. Should be a stellar night for it.
The perfect night for... Oh, hello again.
I have the telescope. It's nicer than I had expected.
I would not offer a prospective stargazer a third-rate lunoscope. But there is, something else.
Yes? What is it?
You remember those astronomy tables Shaw was going on about? It just so happens I've been reading up on them a little myself. And it seems there may be one right here at Hogwarts. I believe we could use it to find hidden constellations.
And you need someone to help you find it.
I do. Are you in? No one from the Gobstones Club will go with me. Said they'd rather get spit at by a stone than... Well, they are cowards. Let us get moving while the stars are still out. I'll show you how to use that telescope once we get there. I promise.
Oh, no need to convince me. Let's get going.
Brilliant. You won't regret it. Shall we? The table is on a castle wall ahead. Look for a stone platform, something that doesn't quite belong. We'll know it when we see it. Onwards we go. Some say the locations of the tables were originally marked by centaurs for ritual stargazing. It is nice having a fellow stargazer to explore with.
Happy to be here. It is good to leave the classroom now and then.
It's not that creepy out here at night, is it? The Gobstones Club are cowards. Here I am, charging ahead. Why don't you lead the way?
If you're sure. Amit, could I ask you something?
Oh, sir?
Where precisely...
According to an old astronomer's chronicle I found in the library, it may be somewhere along the castle wall.
Why are you so fascinated with stars?
I suppose because there is so much to learn about them. I mean, there is plenty to learn about a lot of subjects, but astronomy seems limitless. Always something new being discovered. They are forever discovering new moons and stars. In fact, they discovered a new planet just 50 years ago.
Actually, that's all I wanted to know.
Oh, very well then.
Revelio.
A little foreboding.
Some cobwebs and some dust. Nothing to be concerned about.
Oh, of course. It's just not as tidy as I expected.
Wingardium Leviosa.
More cobwebs. You don't think any spiders might be lurking about?
Oh, no. Not this close to the school, Amit.
I think you should do the honors. Go on, try it out. The constellation should appear near the center of your view. I was right about the tables. They really are gateways to the far stars, just as the book said. And your contribution was invaluable. Rest assured, you shall be credited in my memoirs one day.
Thank you, Emmett. I look forward to reading them.
And I look forward to writing them. This is only the beginning. You will find more tables like this one throughout the grounds and forest, all beckoning to be discovered by a worthy astronomer. And if I have ever seen one, it's you. Oh, and about my old telescope, don't bother returning it. You should keep it.
That's quite generous, thank you.
You're welcome. It has goblin-cut glass and a gobbledygook inscription. I'm practically fluent in gobbledygook, you know. It's all in the throat, really, gobbledygook, you know, and how you pronounce your R's. Anyway, glad our adventure was a success. I will see you soon. Never. Seeing the astronomy tower at night. What a view! Incredible!
Revelio.
Aloha Mora.
Revelio.
Aloha Mora. Mine now, demi-guys.
Revelio. Mine now, demiguise.
I mean, should there be rather a stench of some sort? It's not. Clean as a whistle, but it's... Oh, what's that vile stench? Oh, what is that portrait doing? Humiliating.
Revelio. Revelio.
It's a relief to finally have an answer as to why that portrait was empty.
Alohomora. Revelio. Lumos.
My friend and I like to spend our evenings.
Wish I could sneak into the other common room.
Brand new game. Just the open flame.
Anything to do with the dark art should be avoided. It's too risky.
Anything to do with Salazar Slytherin is worth the risk.
I can't agree. And I'll not say a word more. I'm sorry.
I won't give up.
What were you and Ominous speaking about?
He's being ridiculous. Apparently Salazar Slytherin had a secret scriptorium here in Hogwarts. Ominous swears it was used for the dark arts, so he wants nothing to do with it. I reminded him that Anne needs a cure. This scriptorium could hold the answers we need.
The dark arts do pique my interest.
There's more to dark magic than people realize. The Gaunts know this better than most. Perhaps I've spoken out of turn. Ominous's family history is personal to him.
I'd like to know more about it, if you wouldn't mind telling me. I won't repeat it.
Very well. But do keep this between us. Ominous learned dark magic from his parents. Are you familiar with the Cruciatus Curse?
Crucio, correct? The Cruciatus Curse, also known as the Torture Curse, inflicts excruciating pain on the victim.
Apparently, his parents and older siblings had no qualms about casting us on muggles for sport. Ominous described the sound of the victims' cries as horrific, so the first time he was asked to cast it himself as a child, he couldn't bring himself to do it. As punishment, his family cast it on him. The anguish was so bad that when asked to cast it again, he relented. I have repeatedly assured Ominous that he did what he had to, but he still hasn't forgiven himself.
How horrible. Poor Ominous, he was only a child. He shouldn't blame himself.
After that incident, the rift between Ominous and his family only grew. That is until I came along. Every moment he isn't at Hogwarts, he's with us in Feldcroft. Ominous trusts me. And more often than not, he winds up listening to me. I'll remind him of that when I follow up about the scriptorium. Watch for my owl. I'll have news soon enough. I'll make Ominous understand. He'll change his mind.
On the kitchen floor with my cousins. Not the same here in the courtyard.
I really should look into gillyweed, although I'd still need to swim.
Going for a swim?
Goodness, no. Though I'm beginning to think I really should learn how to swim. Can't very well be liaison to the mer people if I don't know how to swim.
You're a liaison to the mer people?
Well, not technically, no. At least not yet. The position doesn't actually exist at the moment, but I have a plan to change that. I'm Nerida, by the way. Nerida Roberts. We didn't officially meet, but we duelled in the Crossed Swans Club.
Yes, of course. Good to see you again.
And you.
You seem quite interested in mer people.
I am. And they're as misunderstood and disregarded by wizard kind as goblins and centaurs are. I feel that if goblins and centaurs have liaison officers at the ministry, then the mer people should have one too.
I'm impressed. I think reaching out to the mer people is a grand idea.
You do? Oh, thank you. Of course I haven't exactly done anything just yet. I presented them with a gift a few weeks ago, and they wanted to leave me one as well, in one of their caves. Reciprocity and an offer to visit. I tried telling them I couldn't swim, but I'm afraid that bit got lost in translation. Mermish really is tricky.
How has wizard kind fallen short in its treatment of mer people?
Well, we've consistently deemed mer people as being beneath us despite the many similarities between our cultures. One can hardly blame them for declining being status by the Ministry years ago. Who are we to classify those of such beauty and intelligence?
What do you imagine a liaison to the mer people would do?
Oh, so many things. I want to know everything I can about them. After I've mastered swimming, I perfect my mermish, of course, and I'd share with them anything they wanted to know about wizard kind. My hope is that by understanding each other better, both of our societies could grow.
What is it about the mer people that interests you so much?
I can't begin to tell you how brilliant they are. I mean, rumour is that tales about them have infiltrated even the Muggle world. The oldest known mer people, sirens, come from Greece. And of course Scotland has Selkies and Ireland is home to Merrows. I could go on for ages about them. Their glorious underwater communities, domestication of sea life, their art and music. It's a travesty how little is understood about them.
Well, I can swim and could help you if you'd like.
You'd really do that? Oh, thank you! Thank you, thank you! The last thing I want is for them to think I'd shunned their gift. Diplomacy is a delicate dance. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think you can dive down to their cave from just there in the water. I can't wait to hear about what you find. One day soon I'll see for myself. I just know it.
Revelio. Revelio.
This place. Did the mer people really leave Nerida an artifact?
Confringo!
Lumos. Now then, I'll need you to come with me. Now for the rest of you. In here then. Nerida will be happy about this. gift from the Mer people was exactly where they said it would be.
Oh, that's wonderful news! I was so worried I'd left it too long and they'd seen it as a slight. Our relationship with them is already so tenuous.
Then I'm glad we helped to foster some healthy diplomatic relations.
Merlin's beard. It's marvelous. I'm going to show it to everyone, including the Ministry. Should I hand deliver it or send by owl? Thank you again so much. You may have just helped improve relations between wizard kind and Mer people for decades to come. I can't wait to study this.
Let's see what's up your sleeve this time, Merlin. Revelio. Confringo. Expelliarmus. Confringo. Glacius. Descendo. Accio. Leviosa. Incendio. Lumos. Wingardium Leviosa. Reparo. Lumos. Lumos. Merlin himself would be proud.
Revelio. Revelio. Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Leviosa. Revelio. Revelio. Lumos. 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 That's that. Settled. Revelio.
so tricky after all, Merlin. Seems a pleasant enough little place. What do you have in store for me this time?
Confringo! Revelio! Confringo!
These Merlin trials won't get the best of me.
Revelio!
I've always said that travel broadens the mind.
I would so appreciate
What seems to be the problem?
You may well ask. I'm convinced I'm not safe. All I need...
Well, as it...
Oh, you're a gem, you are. No Grim is going... I must insist that you accept this small token of me gratitude.
See if there's something you need. Thank you for your patronage. It's been a pleasure. Pleased to see Arn has his belongings back. Ranrock and his loyalists will think twice.
Revelia.
Handy resource indeed, your side. I'm most pleased to be included.
Revelia.
Over here, quietly. I am glad that you received my owl. Winnie?
Hattie, what's going on?
As promised, I did some investigating to find out what Harlow is up to. I followed him to the Hog's Head. I noticed him reading a letter. All I could see was that it was signed by and bore the seal of Victor Rookwood. And one other thing. Harlow mentioned you to his colleagues. They did not mistake you for someone else, did they?
No, they didn't. Rookwood and Harlow are after me.
Why did you lie to me? And what do they want with a Hogwarts student?
Professor Fig told me to keep things quiet, but I know I can trust you, Natty. Rookwood and Harlow want something Professor Fig and I found at Gringotts.
When were you at Gringotts?
Just before I came to Hogwarts. In fact, it's why I was late to the sorting ceremony. A portkey brought us there after the dragon attacked our carriage.
What on earth?
There's one more thing. It's a bit odd, if I'm honest. Professor Fig says I have a rare connection to a powerful form of ancient magic.
What does that mean?
I'm still learning, but I can see... I know that's a lot.
It is. For now, it's safe to say that Rookwood and Harlow are a threat to both of us. That letter is the tangible proof that Officer Singer needs. It is why I followed...
You seem to be very determined in stopping...
I knew men like him in Uganda. I know how bad things... It's a long story. One I promise to share when we have more time. For now...
I'll help you find the letter.
I'm glad to hear it. First, we must access the castle keep. I'll check the main gate. I do not see any guards, but we should still try to be...
Revelio. I wonder what that does. Well, that didn't work. Something with a bit more force. That did it. Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Revelio. I need to find a way into the gatehouse to open the gate for Natty. Revelio. Dead end. Must be another way in. I'd raise the gate.
Well done. I will be right up. I knew you could do it. This way. I will get the door. That is the main keep. My guess is that we'll find Hollow and the letter inside. We'll need to be careful once we get...
I hear them.
Yeah, restrain the beast!
HIGHWING.
Do you know that hippogriff?
Get this thing back to
Very well. New plan. I get the evidence and you free that hippogriff. Agreed? This is our chance. Go!
Blast it! There's got to be another way to get up to the roof. Somewhere.
Revelia.
Rally behind strength and you can't go wrong. When mind stands...
I hope Natty stays out of trouble. Revelia. Not the safest place to sneak into. Revelia. Natty's having an easier time of it.
all going home in a wooden box! Levioso! Expelliarmus! Coward! Might be failing!
Protego!
Oh, I'm gonna eat These temples!
Is that all they're teaching in school these days? Incendia!
Levioso! Mind yourself! You'll feel that tomorrow.
Confringo!
Glacius!
So very weak. Incendio!
Alohomora. Revelio. Oh no! Deke was right. We need to save you from these barbarians. HIGHWING is all right. There we go.
There you are.
Come on.
Alohomora.
Hurry. Express! Must be returning from an unscheduled run.
I wonder if anyone can see us from the castle.
Master Highwing!
This is amazing!
It's incredible, isn't it?
How exciting.
Oh, it was exhilarating, wasn't it? I wasn't sure we were going to make it out alive.
There was no need to worry. I had it all under control.
Were you able to find the letter?
Summoned it straight out of Hallow's hands. I will say, I did not expect to see him cast the killing curse at us. He won't forget this. Be on your guard.
Of course. What did the letter say?
That Rookwood's looking for a phoenix. Not sure where he will find one. But it also included Hallow's orders to inspect that castle for the poachers. Enough to connect Hallow to the crimes. I shall deliver the letter to Officer Singer. She'll have to do something when she sees it. Now, tell me, where did you meet these hippogriffs?
I've only met HIGHWING before. Poppy introduced us.
Poppy Sweeting knows a hippogriff. Of course she does. Poppy will be relieved to know that HIGHWING's safe. I came to the right person for help. My mother will be worried. I must go. Seek me out soon. I shall have much to tell you.
Slow down now. There we go. No need to race now, my friend. Slow down now. There.
Who is being harassed by Hallow. He may be able to provide the evidence we need to take Hallow down. We should speak with him together. Meet me at his home.
I assume you have news regarding the goblin you mentioned. Why don't we meet at the map chamber to discuss that and our next steps?
When you have a moment, please stop by the Room of Requirement. Deke tells me he has something to share with you.
you are.
Time to go a little quicker.
How about some sightseeing?
Faster!
No need to race now, my friend. Slow down now. There we go. No need to race now, my friend.
Salazar Slytherin's scriptorium, but my efforts were in vain. Meet me outside the Slytherin common room. We need to talk.
to talk with you when you have a moment.
after you. Everything's all right now.
Deek would like to talk with you when you have a moment.
Hello, Deke. Professor Weasley said you wanted to tell me more about the loom.
Ah, hello. Yes, about that. Deek has had a thought. He... Seems the room thinks you need more space for your beasts. As Deek was saying, he's had a thought. Now, Deek knows how you can test the item of clothing that you enhanced in the enchanted loom. And perhaps help an old friend in the process.
What do you mean?
A house elf named Tobbs works for his master retrieving leech juice in a cave near Hogwarts. Tobbs' master doesn't let him leave the cave. And Deek knows the cave is infested with spiders.
That sounds awful.
It is. Deek hasn't heard from his friend for a while now. As the item you wove in the loom has an enchantment that might be useful, Deek thought you could test it whilst checking on Tobbs.
I understand. Leave it to me, Deek. I'll find Tobbs for you.
Oh, thank you. Please let Deek know what you learn about Deek's old friend. of all the potions you've brewed.